today I want to talk to you about what to do if you ever catch yourself in a binge. We're going to talk today about some hard things. Okay. Hello, beautiful people. Let me make sure that this is a good video. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I just came from the gym, did my grocery run, and I was like, I need to grab myself a latte and we're going to spill some tea. I'm going to share more and more from my personal experience of the binge eating patterns that I had. And again, disclaimer, I am not diagnosing. I am not prescribing any of the things. I'm simply going to share from my experience things that helped me crawl out of that hell and come to the other side. My last binge was May 27, 2014. Have I binged since then? No. Have I had some episodes of some overeating or overindulging? I would say more overindulging. Have I overindulged from times? Yes. Do I eat perfectly? No, because there's no such thing. Do I place moral labels on my food? No, I stopped that as well. And so I am just going to create this little mini series to help empower you. And let me know in the comments if this is helping you. So, first of all, I want to say that I see you, and I want to tell you that you are brave, and I want to tell you that you don't have to stay stuck here. First things first, when you catch yourself, because for myself, I would have these flickers. So my binges actually started with feeling deprived, like I couldn't have certain things, and based on the bodybuilding world. And the way that I would place moral labels on food. And what I did was I would come to this place of I can't have a banana or I can't have an orange because there's too much sugar. And so instead I'm going to eat everything else and then just keep going. And then I would realize oh, I fucked up. And so I would be like, what the hell? Right? The literal scientific term of what the hell? I already fucked up, so might as well keep going. Tomorrow's another day. And that mindset really just took over. So I started falling more into this all or nothing mindset. And what I would do is I would just go to town and be like, well, I might as well make it worth it. And I would eat and eat and eat and eat and eat until the point where my stomach would hurt. Sometimes I would feel physically sick. I never vomited because I really dislike that. But I would take myself to the gym. I would take myself on a run or a sprint. I would take myself to go do a heavy workout. I would force myself to try to go and undo the damage that I had done. And so it just became this really sick, twisted life where I was constantly trying to monitor how many calories I had consumed and figure out what I would need to do to burn those calories off. It was hell. And I lived there for several years. Now, if you checked out my last video, I shared why, the very unconventional way of why I binged. And again, disclaimer, this is not medical advice. I'm simply sharing my perspective, my journey, and there's power in that. Because then you could take radical responsibility, because just because you found yourself in one behavior, people are not their behaviors, does not mean that you have to stay there. And so I did a lot of work around this topic of my life, this chapter. And again, my last binge was May 27, 2014. I have not binged since. And so what I want to share today is if you ever find yourself in a binge, this is what I am going to encourage you to do. Number one, hands on your heart. And you're going to take a deep breath. If you can go to a mirror, even better. I know that usually when we are doing behaviors like this, when we're stuck in patterns like this, we don't necessarily, and again, I should say, one does not equal the other. So correlation does not equal causation. However, there is a high percentage of women who binge, or if a man, people who binge that don't necessarily like themselves. Now, I didn't like myself. So what you're going to do is you're going to hands on your body. If you can, go to a mirror. And you're going to just take some deep breaths. what I would do from this position is I would do this butterfly hold, butterfly hug, and I would just tap. Just a few times while I'm looking in the mirror, if you feel comfortable to do so. And I would just have a moment with myself. You may feel flooded with guilt and shame, tons of racing thoughts, feeling like a failure, feeling like you're not enough. I'm going to ask you to just simply bear witness to those parts within you that are feeling this way. And to practice that a feeling is not who you are. It's a feeling. So feelings are fleeting, just like clouds in the sky. And so I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like this. Then I'm going to ask you to have some water, and I'm going to ask you to be gentle on you. And I'm going to ask you to simply either get a journal if that's a practice that you're already into. Maybe you want to journal out how you're feeling. Maybe you want to go for a walk. Maybe you want to call somebody. But what you're not going to do is you're going to try really hard as humanly possible to not beat yourself up and to not do any of the compensatory activities to undo what you have done. Be that purging, be that over exercise, like going and like doing a workout. We're not going to do that. We're simply going to choose moment to moment of honoring ourselves. We're not going to skip the next meal. And so what I would recommend you do is you just try to recenter yourself in your body and just ask yourself, like, what do I need right now? So I feel like this butterfly hug is really, really good. Sometimes I will even take it to my face and I will just stroke my cheeks like this. And I'm bearing witness to everything that is passing through my mind. These thoughts are just thoughts, and to be a truth, and we don't have to make them mean anything. And so from this moment, do not skip the next meal. So if it is mealtime and you are hungry, eat. If you're not hungry, now be really honest with yourself. Maybe you're not hungry because you ate so much. When we binge, this tends to happen. But you're going to really pay attention to when your hunger cues come back, and you're going to get yourself back into a cycle of enjoying the next meal. Enjoying. Not berating yourself, not skipping on the carbs, not cutting on the fats, not making your portions excessively small. It's really important that you just take time to recenter yourself in your body. Now, be kind on you. I would honestly recommend, if you are not already seeing somebody professionally, I'm going to share different resources as well. Stay tuned to the next video. I will share other resources of that I've found most recently that I would have really enjoyed perhaps at the time. I'm going to share resources that I just found literally like this year that I did not have back in 2012 to 2014. It was quite bad. But I will share resources, so stay tuned to watch the next video, and I will let you know the process I took myself through. Now, again, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not saying this is going to work for you. I'm simply sharing my story. So it's very important that you understand that, and you have full autonomy, and you need to take what's best for you. What I would do, what I have done to get myself through this, when I realized the reason I was binging, and again, if you haven't watched that video, check it out. I started really just paying attention to the thoughts, and I started just really understanding that my thoughts were not necessarily truths, and I didn't have to latch onto them, and I didn't have to make it mean anything. And from that perspective, I was able to show up differently. So I'll share in the other video, in the next video, how I stopped binging. But for now, if you find yourself in a binge, it's very, very important that you're kind and gentle on you, that And I'm not saying fake it till you make it, because I don't believe that shit, but that you be kind to you, and you understand that you're a beautiful human doing the best that you can to navigate this time in place in your life, and that this is just a chapter. Everybody has chapters that they do not read out loud sometimes. And from this perspective, you can make a different decision. And so what I would recommend if you find yourself in a binge is to be gentle on you. Have some water. Maybe you want to take a nap. Maybe you want to journal. Maybe you want to take a walk. Again, it's really catching these thoughts. And when your next meal comes around, you ask yourself honestly if you are hungry. And I say honestly because you can lie to yourself and say, no, I just ate all of this stuff, so I shouldn't be hungry, and I'm not hungry. And like, you could force yourself to not eat. And I've done that. And I'm going to ask yourself to make a different decision. You are not broken. You are not stuck here, and you can change. This I 100% know. You can change, you can get out of it. It's a journey. But what I do know for sure is if you catch yourself in your binge and you start to berate yourself and you start to make yourself wrong for doing this, what are you doing? You are simply making it hard. You're making it, what you're doing in this moment is you are firing your neurons to really just anchor in this pattern. And by berating yourself and beating yourself up, it lights up in your brain, and it forces it to become like another groove, and then it's just a habit. And the more you do this, it's just a habit. Like, change doesn't happen until you change. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is, you've been so hard on yourself this whole time. Why not try a different approach? Why not try being kind to yourself? Why not try being gentle on yourself? Why not try just being easy on yourself? Why not try doing some breathing, do some breath work? Like, try a different approach. Don't try all the approaches, but try one different thing, right? So this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm offering for you today. Let me know if this helped at all. I am wanting you to know that just because you find yourself in this chapter doesn't mean you're going to stay stuck here forever. I completely believe this if you're willing to do the work. And I'm going to highly recommend you get some professional support. So that's not me, but you will get your professional support and you will do the work. And change comes when we make different decisions. And so, again, if this video helped you in any way, please let me know. And I'm here, and I want you to know that. As always, be brave, be bold, be you.